5 remaining European teams are about to turn into 4 as Guild eSports take on Team Queso. I'm here with the Chiefs today and Stumpy as ever. And Stumpy, these two teams had very different fortunes yesterday.
Yeah, they have had the complete opposite side of the coin, really, where we're going to be seeing Queso after having an incredibly long series versus Solary as they came through in the end in and let's try and get this right, a Game 5 overtime, 8-minute reverse sweep series to finish the set.
Nice.
That's how they got here, and Guild just got smashed by top blokes. So, very different on either side, but it's Queso's momentum that maybe is going to help or hinder them.
Yeah, this is a team that relies on it, isn't it, Chiefs?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, Queso, once they started rolling yesterday, really just couldn't stop them. And Guild going to need to find a way to stop Demensa on the defensive half. I thought he was playing an excellent game, particularly on that side of the ball. And Guild need a lot more production out of Tho and Nolly today if they want to be successful.
Yeah, Nolly in particular, he is the player that really rose to prominence when Guild became one of the favoured teams in EU, and we didn't see anywhere near enough from him yesterday. I mean, to be fair, we didn't see anywhere near enough from any of the Guild players yesterday. It was indeed a day at the office to forget. But they are still dangerous. They are still capable of going up against Team Queso and destroying them.
I mean, the main thing I think that we need to consider about Guild is that they have got one of the best coaches in Europe and an incredible org behind them. With Gregan and Guild to support them, I don't think there's too much that is going to phase them from yesterday, realistically. Not more than other teams, at least, where a lot of them would be a lot more tilted than these guys. Devo still had a great performance. He looked mechanically fantastic. Let down quite thoroughly by Nolly and by Tho as well. But I do back them to come back into this series, already looking like they want to be more offensive than they were yesterday, because top blokes were outspeeding them on every single chance. And one of the faster teams yesterday, in the end, was Queso.
If they can continue to play that way today. They also defended particularly well, which impressed me. But in attack is where they're always at their most dangerous, as with any team. And there is Demensa. Didn't score too many yesterday, but he's already on the score sheet today.
You gotta love VK Salen getting that quick redirect towards goal and not giving up on the play, instantly heading towards the net to throw off the line from the guy coming off the goal. So well played, VK Salen, opening up a big door for his teammate to walk through.
Will feel good as well for Team Queso, who are continuing to do their best to keep up any of the momentum that they did manage to build yesterday, going all the way, Stumpy, as you say, to that final overtime to end it all, which lasted about 8 minutes. So we know these guys have got fight in them. The question has become, how much fight do Guild have in them? Because they've got more defending to do right now as Atomic puts it towards the backboard. Devo helps it along. Demensa's there arriving, though, and so far, Team Queso with these bumps are really causing Guild some problems.
I mean, Queso yesterday they topped so many of the stats as well. On average, goals, Atomic just topped that. In assists, Demensa was there. Saves near the top, again, Demensa. He was putting in such an assist-heavy and defensive performance that it was so hard for Solary to really get many goals past them, apart from just the occasional, 6-0 game or 4-0 or whatever it ended up being. On the other side of things, though, it was lackluster. But Tho, despite his poor performance yesterday, hopefully we see him popping off.
Man, what a touch from Devo, just going up and fighting for that ball, and Tho just realizing that nobody from Team Queso going to be in position, so he takes his time on his approach, really just picked apart the defensive goal line there from Team Queso. What a line to take.
Yeah, I mean, you can analyze that all you want, but the fact of the matter is that was just a stunning flip reset there from Tho, and exactly what Guild need. One of these players to step up, unlike yesterday. Tho's making it look in that NASCAR vehicle that he is going to be the man to do so. Maybe following, it was Astral, wasn't it, yesterday? Who was using the NASCAR to, at times, such good effect, and Tho's getting involved again off the ceiling. VK Salen is able to catch it. And in front of him, Demensa has some boost, and now Team Queso can attack with 2 of them in front of the ball. And that is where Guild have looked vulnerable, but on this occasion, they break it through, and some defending from Queso has to come in.
And you were talking about the physicality from Team Queso being quite effective at pushing Guild back into their own half, and that's really come a lot from VK Salen. He's really been getting aggressive and forward in front of a lot of these plays, and that's a very risky challenge from Atomic to come through out of the midfield with no support behind him to make the big block, and they almost pinch one straight into the net.
That would have been absolutely brilliant if he and VK Salen had have combined. What a game Atomic had yesterday. And he's starting to warm up, but he's not involved here at all. It's VK Salen off the back of a Demensa assist for 2-1.
That's such a nice angle that Dementor gets the pass off as well, where you can't be on the backboard to defend that to clear it away without then jumping too early or too late. The margin for error is too great, but how he got that central with the power and the accuracy, that was near enough harder to miss for VK Salen, and Dementor again having a great day. This time more offensively focused, but still racking up those assists.
Good news as well for Guild, though. To be fair, they haven't allowed too many shots, only 6. So about one, just over 1 a minute for them so far. And Team Queso tries, they might, with the physicality, Guild doing a nice job, not getting thrown too far off as though, not going to have the ability to really finish the play. And under a minute now, Devo pressing. Guild might have the last couple of looks here if they're able to stick themselves a couple of challenges at the midfield line.
So goes onto the backboard and just misses. Now Nolly does the same, but it's a great linking touch there from Atomic to get Queso going again. One more goal could absolutely kill this first game in what promises to be a very long set. If yesterday is anything to go by, another shot from VK Salen. Queso's going to keep coming. Devo into the center, and Tho helps it along. Will Guild have one more chance? It's not happening just yet, but they're always so dangerous when they come forwards. Nolly is raising this one high, and VK Salen is just sending it straight back to Guild. Any questions they're asking are being answered pretty easily right now. They can't even get it out of their own half. This touch from Nolly has to be perfect. Devo's pre-jumped it, but VK Salen still beats him. It's actually almost going to be in at the end there from Team Queso, but they will take that 2-1 victory.
Good try. I think Queso really just came out swinging with the physicality. Cole, you mentioned it. And Guild tries, they might just never really got the challenge feet under them to get set and really go out there and fight for possession. And it could just be a product of not having people in position to actually go out and close the gap in a timely manner. So good first opening game from Queso. Ball's in your court, Guild.
I mean, pretty even across the board, those stats-wise. It just came down to an extra goal. Very even possession overall, but it certainly seemed like Team Queso are coming out a bit hotter in this one. I do think, though, Guild had the goal of the game with that faux flip reset with the pass from Devo. That's just so well played. So certainly not a bad effort from Guild. Definitely not showing that they had their war wounds from yesterday. Queso, though, they're coming out quick and they're looking very similar to how they did manage to take down Solary yesterday. If they lose here, though, that's going to be either of these teams out, so pressure is incredibly high.
I mean, Guild are a team that started the entire season slowly and found a way to become good right when they had to. So the fact that in these championships nothing has gone their way, at this point won't be phasing them too much. We can only expect them to continue to step up and get even more dangerous, especially with this man on the ball, playing the way he seems to be hinting that he is. So we got that glorious flip reset in game 1, and already a nice couple of linking touches over here on Forbidden Temple, but it's his teammate Nolly that has the first clean shot, and Nolly gets the first goal.
Nice follow through here from Guild. I mean, Devo just comes over the top of Dementor and VK Salen. That's not exactly a difficult touch, but it is one that requires finesse. Easy to misplay that one and tap it off the wall out into the middle. So he's really trying to focus and get it out to the right and ends up just missing the ball completely and giving a big open look for Nolly.
But with the pre-jump from Nolly, though, I mean, he had that confidence that the miss is going to come in, and it then meant that VK Salen, he had to just try and get any touch that he was able to, and it meant that he was rushed, he felt that pressure, with Nolly breathing down his neck. Really, really good finish. And it also shows that almost lack of respect from Guild, thinking, we know you're going to mess up. Like, you hit the ball so often, you're bound to do it eventually.
Well, it is kind of that understanding of... it's not necessarily... positioning, right? The positioning isn't bad from Team Queso. It's more the situation, right? You know that as an offensive player that the situation is moderately difficult to handle. And that's why in a lot of comms, you see teams saying he's awkward, right? Because it's just, it's kind of weird situation and everyone's kind of thinking, all right, if they mess up here, we can definitely have a goal scoring opportunity. And every attacking player in this game has kind of that sixth sense that they can really just follow through on that and be willing to put the pressure because they know that if they miss, it's definitely going to be a goal opportunity.
I always love the comment of he's awkward because it just sounds like an insult every time. Yeah. Like, no matter how they say that he's awkward, and it's like, harsh, okay, they're doing their best, but fine.
Especially with player cams up as well. It becomes even meaner when you're looking at them saying, yeah, he's an awkward fella.
He's awkward.
Anyway, the game is looking fairly awkward right now for Team Queso, who are struggling to get in it. Guild having a lot of territory over in that blue half of the pitch, although Nolly is going to just watch VK Salem and see what he can do, though. A change of pace, though, from Team Queso is so quick. And suddenly, from a tricky situation for Queso, they looked all right, but then there comes Tho down the other end for the Guild counter-attack. The man is looking very good today.
Guild really did have a good push there, but they had to give up a little bit of ground in the midfield, and that's when Team Queso tried to push forward, get themselves back onto the offensive side of things, but they just didn't win one challenge against Devo on that goal line. Went straight back up the seam to Tho on the wing, and one easy flick right through the defense, and Team Queso kind of scratching their heads here in Game 2.
And it's Queso left on that back line, like just waiting for something to come in from Guild where they're not expecting it to. And that's an unexpected goal as well from VK Salem. Received a pass from the corner, but look at just Tho ends up whiffing it entirely.
Oh yeah, that's not what you want at all from Guild right now.
Awkward.
He's playing so well. I think he was very awkward there. I feel like 100,000 people watching this right now were screaming, he's awkward, as he went for that ball. Thankfully for Team Queso, VK Salem was listening, and now Queso are right back in it. It could be 2-all straight away. Nolly's just trying to block it as well as he can. Demensa follows awkwardly, and now Nolly can just pump it long.
That's a much-needed clear from Nolly as well. I mean, you give up the early potential for a goal on the kickoff. You're kind of scrambling while they're going to get it. No, Nolly is respawned, comes across the net, didn't even see him there. And so Guild hanging tough, just with the 1-goal lead. But Team Queso have definitely found their feet after an opening game that they really seem to handle quite nicely, and Guild have rebuffed them quite a bit here in Game 2.
Oh, they could have more as well. Demensa, his teammates needed him there. It was looking so tricky for the goal line defense, and Demensa is exactly the player they needed at the right time. And Nolly can keep the attack going for Guild. Devo's coming in. Atomic's going to be bonked left, right, and center. He doesn't stand a chance, and Devo's finish was good anyway.
That's Devo's first goal as well of this series. And look at that placement that he finds. Nolly with the bump on the keeper, leaves the entire goal open, still sends it top corner. The class from Devo is carrying over from yesterday.
His first goal of the series, and also that means that all 3 Guild players have scored in this second game as well. So, whirring into life is the Guild machine. Demensa does take a catch there, though. His team in need of a couple of goals. Nothing will be spawning from this situation. Nolly can just slow things down. VK Salem is waiting, but Devo helps him out. It seems to be a theme of this series that players are helping each other out when their teammates are struggling in defense, not afraid to dive in from the side, risking a double commit, because you know that the speed of play is so quick when you're up against Team Queso. You have to take that risk on occasion, and thus far, Stumpy, the Guild risks are paying off.
Yeah, Guild are making sure that they're pre-jumping nice and often so that Team Queso don't get a single nice play. Oh, Tho, though, just with a little bit more space. Again, though, he was gifted so much time on the backboard that the tap down didn't quite go in. But the fact that he got the angle from there and tipping it off the nose of the NASCAR, that is gigantic. Atomic with another shot on net is just one of the few chances Team Queso have had so far.
Mensa almost catching that pass from Atomic. Could have put them in a one-on-one, give them an opportunity to close the gap. But unfortunately, I just don't think they have the time now with that slight misexecution on the counterattack.
Well, we will see. Something has to happen pretty much straight away. VK Salem doinks it onto the backboard. Nolly wins the race then, and then Tho completes the job. Devo's going to see it all the way back to the Team Queso goal line, and that may well be the end of that, unless VK Salem can do something incredible. Nothing of the sort, and then just watch, though, hovering around, making it as difficult as possible for Team Queso. There's no momentum on the ball. They've got no boost. It is just awkward situations all round, and Guild are going to edge this one out with a 4th as well, and a bump too. You love to see it, and it's 4-1. Tho gets his second.
A bit of a train wreck to close out Game 2 here for Queso. They were trying to get something going, just like you said, no momentum, couldn't really string together the pinch to give themselves an opportunity. Write this one off. You know that it was really execution on the challenge from Guild, and Tho, of course, big finishing game from here. Almost got the hat trick here, but Nolly with 5 saves, keeping it locked down on defense. Well played game overall from Guild.
Yeah, I mean, after that goal as well, Nolly was in his chair straight up dancing. Like, he was rocking side to side. He's got his music on. He's a player that I think has certainly come out of his shell in spring and forwards in the RLCS X. And they've had some amazing content over with Guild. They've done some awesome stuff here on this channel as well. And being able to see those players on the broadcast with their experience, with their personality shining through, it's awesome to see.
And it's interesting. You see there that demo, 4 demos for Queso, and definitely leading in physicality, at least in the demo count for that one. And surprising to see that demo not necessarily translate into more offensive opportunities for Queso here in Game 2. So gotta give credit to the people plugging the gaps.
Yeah, well, so far it seems that bumps have been more effective than demos. I can't think of too many goals that have come directly from a player being scrubbed away from the pitch, but certainly being bumped away from the ball, that has led to at least 2 or 3. So keep getting those little bites at your opponents as you go around the pitch and rotate out seems to be the play of the day. Stumpy, Guild really became one of the teams we were talking about based on their mechanics, of Nolly in particular. And I'm just getting the sense that their mechanics are starting to warm up, unlike yesterday.
They definitely have come out of the gates hotter than they ever did yesterday too. I think yesterday they just never anticipated much of a fight from top blokes, and top blokes proved them completely wrong, proved the desk wrong. They look great. And Guild never dealt with that, you're right. I think though, today they're coming much more prepared, at least they're looking much more prepared. They seem to have done their homework. They've been sitting in those training packs for the last hour, just making sure that they are getting everything down that they need to. I'm impressed so far, much more so than yesterday. They've already equaled the amount of games they got yesterday as well, I believe. Yeah, Guild looking much stronger. I've got much higher hopes for them in this series.
We're going to continue to barge on the door against Team Queso. Queso coming back with that touch from Atomic towards the backboard, which is knocked away by Devo. VK sailing to the air, past Devo there. There was a double demo. Tho and Atomic taking each other out. So for a few seconds at least, we got a 2v2, which could have been very interesting if the ball was trickling towards the Guild goal as opposed to away from it. But Queso have started this game better, Achieves.
Team Queso challenge machines right now in this third game. They really haven't let hardly anything get through that midfield line that much. They're really putting Guild through their paces on defense.
That's what Team Queso are always going to do. You can never slow down when you're up against them. That's what I was saying earlier. You got to take those risks in defense, even if it does lead to the occasional double commit, because if you let them in, they will keep that ball in your half.
I mean, it also is a far cry from what they were doing yesterday, where... Oh, what another save! That's more like what Queso were doing yesterday. They spent the most time in their own half, in their own third, compared to any other team as well. So the fact that they're bringing it up into the midfield and challenging a lot more, despite the fact they won yesterday, relying a lot on counter-attack, is huge. And Nolly with the first goal to open up the third game.
I mean, what are you supposed to do as Demensa here? You see Nolly go up, and you're not entirely sure where that redirect is going to go just because of the line he's taken to that ball. I mean, he could be trying to put it into the top of the net. He could be trying to go back post. There's just too many things to consider there for Demensa, and that is a quality redirect from Nolly.
It was almost impossible there for Demensa to cover the entirety of the goal. He did seem, at least in recent times, to be turning into Queso's third man if they have one. Oh, but they needed him there to sink that ball. That's going to start raising questions in the team camp. That absolutely has to go in. And suddenly, Team Queso are chasing. Atomic beats Nolly and Devo to the ball. But where's the follow-up? They've slowed down.
All very aggressive there on that forward push, and I think they all had to give a little bit of ground just to regain some positioning, either off trying to steal boost, or that third man coming through just doesn't really have a good place to put the ball. So you eventually do have to give a little ground. It's the eternal give and take of Rocket League. You can try and force something, but it's going to cost you positioning, and most teams aren't really willing to forego that very often.
All right, now Guild seem to be dealing with Queso pretty well indeed. Look at that, another change of pace. Devo slows it down for a second, takes the ball to the other wing, and then tries to get it over the top of Demensa. But Demensa does very well with it. Tee up VK Sailor. Atomics to the edge, go for the double tap or the straight shot. In the end, it wasn't really either. It was awkwardly onto the crossbar. I think the clean double tap may have been the better play from him yesterday. And Atomic was so hot yesterday, Stumpy, but he hasn't really seemed like reaching those heights today.
Atomic was a goal demon yesterday. He looked incredible. He had the most amount of goals across any game as well. He had over 1 goal per game, and that's something that nobody else managed to do in this most competitive tournament we've ever had so far. So Atomic, wanting to see more from him. We know he can do it, but it's more on Guild, I think, shutting him down, not giving him those avenues, because on that play, Nolly missed the side boost, then came back, then get the corner boost, then faked the early challenge. So Atomic just didn't know where he stood.
Wow. How about the adaptability, though, from Guild here in this match? I mean, they started off this game just absolutely getting crushed on the challenge game, constantly being pushed back onto their own half, and now it feels like Queso having to work overtime just to get the ball past the midfield line for any extended period of time.
They've got time still to come back of Team Queso, but it is just beginning to err away as Dementor takes a touch. Atomic's to his side. He's going to go for a pinch rather than a dribble up the wall to set up an air dribble. And now suddenly Guild are bumping into each other. I don't know why they're panicking, but it might mean that they end up being punished. VK Salem pre-jumps those clearance, and he's still in the air as well. A flip reset from him could do all sorts of damage to Guild, but Dementor was coming in. The communications weren't quite there, and Tho can get it away towards Devo, but he's demoed at the end by Dementor. Devo's going to come forward now. Nolly up against Dementor, could end it here yet again, but nobody can take their chances right now on either team. They've all had opportunities to kill this game or save it. No one's managed it, and what it will mean is that Dementor is up in the air from VK Salen's pass. We'll call it a fake as VK Salen continues to attack. Atomic up against Nolly. Dementor wants to win this race versus Devo. Devo fakes it away, and Guild take game 3.
I think you'll call it a fake, Cole. I don't think your Achieves would call that a fake, to be honest.
History.
I saw Achieves' face when you said we'll call it a fake, and I'm like, I don't think we will be doing that, actually.
I felt good about that game for Queso for so long, and then just that last 90 seconds, I was just like, what in the world is going on, man? I mean, it looked so clean and put together for that first half of the game.
I would so rarely say this about Team Queso, but where was the third man? It was just such an un-Queso-like performance where they'd build this pressure, they'd make Guild struggle, they'd force them to double commit, which is what I've been calling for. And then suddenly you'd look back and Atomic, of all people, be back getting boosts. It's like, well, what? This isn't the Team Queso that we know and love, is it?
To be fair, Queso did have a lot of opportunities on net. They just missed them, right? They put a lot off the bar, off the post, or a couple of them saved away as well. So it's not like Team Queso was just getting there locked out. Only 3 shots on net, right? But I thought the opportunities that they generated were quality. It was just, what are you going to do? If you don't put the ball in the net, you're not going to win.
I think the biggest problem...
That's what we bring in a cheese for.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem that we saw from Queso there, though, was the way that Guild did manage to deal with their plays too. We said earlier that Atomic had a chance to go for the backboard, but looked 2 steps back, and he didn't know what he was about to do, and Nolly made the decision for him. It seems like Guild are definitely dictating the pace of this series and ultimately of this set if they keep having their way. One more game, though, and Guild will be taking the first series in this set.
The first series in this set and Guild's first series of these championships after playing so disappointingly yesterday. What a massive achievement that'll be for them, just to jump straight back on the horse. And they're looking good right now as Devo puts it onto the backboard. VK Salen's in the air, and Guild just want to grow into this game as much as possible. I've got a feeling, Achieves, that Team Queso are going to come out to this one with fire and brimstone after that last performance, but Dementor put himself in trouble, and then he recovers well.
You'd like for them to come out with some fire and brimstone behind them, but right now, the defense, it's not looking... Never mind. You're a genius, Cole. I take it back. You're an absolute genius. How did you know?
What is that? It was just Dementor challenging so carefully, and then in the end, he just thinks, well, Devo, you're clearly in the way of my goal. I want to get rid of you. Sends him towards the midfield. VK Salem with great opportunity to come in as well. I don't think he was coming in for the shot, more just for the challenge. Floats perfectly for him. Queso with the lead as well. Nice early goal to set up this, hopefully for them, not final game.
How delicate a Guild then? After looking pretty weary in recent times, will they be able to, just to see that one away? It was a freak goal, doesn't mean anything. Carry on playing the way you've been playing for the last couple of games, and you'll be able to see this first series away. It seems so far so good. Atomic, another awkward position. Remember, that goal did come off the back of Guild almost scoring as well, where Demensa had to make the double save. So
yeah,
it's actually, despite that moment, being a decent start, I'd say, for Guild.
Definitely a strong start for Guild. Like you said, kind of just the freak goal there. And right now, what you really need from Queso is better touches out of their own half. I mean, it's okay. Like, that'll get the job done, right? But you're definitely not going to hang on to possession here.
Well, VK Salen can do so much with the possession that he does have. This time he goes for a double tap off the ceiling, but Devo tracks him and then tackles him, then sets up Tho, and Atomic's got an awkward position to make up for. Devo's trying to get a redirect similar to Nolly's a couple of games ago. Wasn't quite able to do it because the defending was slightly faster this time and in a better position. There's a snapshot from Tho. Guild looking good all of a sudden in attack. Devo passes it down to Tho, and now here comes Nolly. How much boost does he have? Enough to get a flip reset? Not quite, but he certainly puts Queso under more pressure. Tho onto the backboard, but it's saved by Demensa.
I mean, forget boost. The amount of space that Nolly had, the call was perfect from Guild, where it was sent high. That's abysmal, but we're okay. The space that Nolly had to go up there, no one else from Queso was off the floor, and yet the shot didn't go in. So I like the positioning, I like the speed, I don't like what he did with it.
VK Salen's going to try and do a little bit more with this one, but he's just missed it again. A few whiffs coming out for both these teams now. This is the period that every series seems to have where things just get a little bit messy and sloppy. And taking advantage of moments like this is something that all players are desperate to do. Demensa with more defensive work to do in this one. Guild are continuing to ask the question. They've been the better team in this game, but still achieves they remain one down. Oh, and bumped away.
Oh, and off the mark for Atomic there. Chance towards the right side of the net. Not sure if it would have had the pace, but I think you're right. Guild definitely playing a solid game here, and despite the sloppiness from both sides, Nolly again just trying to muscle one through, and good way to reset everything and really take pace of play back. Just start hitting every shot as hard as you can straight towards the opposition's net. When people aren't playing super clean, I mean, you can always just force them to have to make a touch, and that'll really set you up nicely to get a good understanding of what they can do with the ball.
I mean, what I really like is the fact that, like, every single shot that Guild took was exactly what it said on the tin. They just hit it hard at the net, and it meant that Queso was sending two men to the ball time and time again. But yet, just again, if I'll have to use that word again, lol, Guild just needed to take a better shot, take their time, calm it down just for a minute, and then bring a player or two out, because the shots they were taking, strong and powerful, but straight at the defense.
I mean, Tho has had 6 shots, and yet Team Queso between them only have 2 saves. So the shooting boots have not been wrapped around Guild's feet so far in this game. Tho's going to try and change it to the backboard. Good catch. VK Salen's missed. Nolly's coming in. Nolly has to sink that. Devo's turn now. Tho maybe with one more bite of the cherry, but it's stolen away from him by Atomic. What a frustrating game for Guild, and now Tho is getting in Nolly's way on the rotation. Have Queso done enough?
I mean, it's not really anyone's fault there on Guild for dropping the ability to hold on to the ball there. Tho kind of trying to rotate out and give space, but man, you're right. You really needed to turn in that touch from Tho off the back wall as Atomic in a real bad spot, but that's a quality touch out to the side. Force Nolly to dump it off into space. Tho with the last chance, and he's just going to float it towards the net. A little bit greedy. I think the trap there was the better idea. Take it on the dribble. Maybe go for the flick off the wall or something, but one way or the other, Queso going to hold Guild off, and a game where, I mean, Guild really drove the boat.
They did. They were fully in control for that entire game, and yet we're seeing that Queso won, and they made... Look at all those saves. The saves and the shots. The bars are on opposite sides, with fully on orange, fully on blue. And, I mean, I think the problem a lot of the time there for Guild was what Achieves was saying, where they're taking these shots, but they're just not accurate. They were just they were floating it somewhere towards the net, bringing Queso out, but then there wasn't a plan B after that, or at least just something to follow up on. That was nearly a disaster, and that terrified me that I was going to be going in. There just didn't seem to be too much forethought. That shot from Nolly was clever, I think. The slow rolling shot to send it high, if someone's got low boost, if they're then jumping for it, they're then going to peak too early. They'll then fall down before it gets in the net. He just shot it too high. Devo too far away. They had boost control, but they didn't know what to do with the ball.
What we haven't mentioned as well is that VK Salen's goal for Team Queso in Game 4 was an absolute freebie. It was a tackle in midfield that rolled agonizingly in. So despite being 100% the better team, Guild manifested a way to lose it. And now Team Queso are on the cusp of just getting back into a series that we thought they had no chance of getting back into. Guild almost taking the lead at the start of Game 5. It has come to a decider in the first series of this set.
I was about to say, what do you do if you're Team Queso on defense after you really got your cage rattled in the previous match? And I mean, you keep pulling pinches out of your own half there and clear the whole field. That'll definitely give you a lot more operating room.
They're so happy to just sit back in their own half. And then again, VK Salen just coming in and being a nuisance. On defense, Queso looks so strong and so agile. And then VK Salen just for some reason pushing up so incredibly far out of nowhere.
Because he can see that as soon as VK Salen sees Devo backflip off the ball, he already knows that Devo's going to leave that for Tho. So VK Salen knows, all right, if I can close the gap on Tho, I can prevent Tho from starting the dribble. Combine that with Tho not necessarily catching the ball the cleanest and having to take an extra cut to the outside to get back behind the center of the ball. I mean, that's more than enough time to VK Salen for him to get there and just go right through him as he's going to almost score a second goal. It is going to tip off the post and in. 2-0 Team Queso.
It needed so many touches. Nolly was so close to that one, but what a read from VK Salen. It must be said, Nolly again. It is agonizing for Guild, but Team Queso are just, the breaks are going their way and they are taking their chances. It must be said that when any even half chance at a goal falls upon them, they are just being ruthless with their finishing, Stumpy.
I mean, they're making sure that they are now taking control of the game, that they relinquished everything for Devo. Decent chance to tip it over his head, but couldn't quite get it on target even. But Nolly going in for the double, too high. You'd expect him to sink that. Tho with a shot, Salen saving it away. The savior just in every part of the pitch right now.
Critical save, to be honest, right there. I mean, you got Tho uncontested, only one guy to beat. Chance for a double tap, and Demensa wisely up early, knowing Atomic was going to have a tough play on that ball. So Guild, you had your chance right there to get yourself back in it, and time's going to keep ticking now.
Guild are focusing on the backboard at the moment, just doing their best to starve Queso of as much boost as possible. It almost pays off in the end, but Demensa, another immaculate save. It was there defending against Solary yesterday that won them the overtime, and it looks like it's winning them this Game 5 versus Guild yet again. The wall of blue just cannot be broken no matter what Guild do. They will be scratching their heads thinking, how on earth have we not scored in the last 2 games of this series? It just makes no sense as far as they're concerned.
Oh, they catch him? Okay, well, Nolly's going to keep the ball, but what do you do if you're Devo here? You don't really have a good choice. You already know Tho's back grabbing boost, and Nolly's out in front of you, and he's just going to get challenged. So Guild really having to fight for possession, and unfortunately, they just don't have the positioning to really hang on to it very well.
I mean, they're being given a couple of chances to go for dribbles, but I think Guild are so scared to take a touch on the ball because they've seen what happens when they try and slow it down. Queso are just going to push them. They're going to crunch them in the midfield, break both their legs and score a goal while they're at it. So Guild are just trying to send it as far away as possible, hope they can go for those double taps off the backboard.
Tho needs to get something going here for Guild, and he needs it to happen quickly. That is good. Good nipping in there from Nolly. Tho sends it center, but Devo was nowhere near, so Atomic gets a clean touch. Team Queso shouldn't be allowed these clean touches. They have to be challenged at every single pass. It's going to be a good challenge from Nolly. He gets the flip reset, he gets the dunk, and he gets Guild back in the series.
Oh, you felt something coming with that weak touch from VK Salen off the wall. It doesn't pinch forward, and what a flip reset. Instantly hits the wheels and just drives the car right into the middle of the ball. I mean, good luck stopping a guy with that much force coming through at the top of the net. That was beautiful from Nolly.
Stopping a guy who's raised his stock so much in recent times as well. Nolly coming alive could be exactly what Guild need right now in this series and in these championships. But Queso are forward. Atomic's going to put it just wide. He had a chance. It wasn't simple, but you'd expect him to sink it on current form, Stumpy.
You'd also expect Guild to not double commit and double miss on that save. Like, for some reason, just neither... They weren't even just like, oh, they just skimmed it. They're about 5 car lengths away, either of them in opposite directions. And Queso still didn't manage to score. They're 2-on-up, granted, but take those chances, get the insurance goal. But now, with Queso on that push down the other end of the pitch, we approach 1 minute remaining.
Barged in from Nolly.
It was a poorly executed transition. This pass is perfect. Nolly needs to get this to the left-hand side, but he gets on the wrong side of the ball, hits it right at him, and just the breakdown for Team Queso. I mean, considering the situation, that was about as easy a save attempt as you were going to get right there, and just botched it.
It's now a race for the hat trick between VK and Nolly as well.
Oh, no!
Who's going to get it? Oh, nearly Nolly can pip him to the post.
So close almost for Nolly to maybe win this first series with that touch of the ball, but it was saved again on the goal line by Team Queso, just ratcheting up that pressure with every clean touch they're making. Atomic gets a bit of an air dribble. VK Salem's flying in, already got a couple of goals as you mentioned, Stumpy. And here's Dementor to get involved in the party. Onto the backboard he goes, blocking down Nolly. No escape for Guild at this moment. A whiff from Foe. Atomic has a chance to shoot. It's Devo and he's saving it. Clutch on the goal line.
That was just both teams, right, just looking at the ball, seeing, okay, you're shooting, I'm defending. We can't stop each other from doing each other's role. We just have to hope it goes our way.
This is maybe one more chance for one of these teams. Tho is just waiting for this ball. Guild have shown patience, even when 2 goals down this entire time. So you'd expect they won't rush into anything now and will accept the overtime, but Atomic's pass is a good one to the backboard. Tho's in a really tough position, but it's missed. Stumpy, 28% of yours and my games go to overtime. Here's another, baby.
I cannot believe that statistic. That's just over 1 in 4 games goes to an overtime between us.
Oh, it was almost not a long one. It still couldn't be. Here comes VK Salen. Nolly saves it. Not the cleanest defending you'll ever see. Guild get away with the early doors, but Atomic has another chance. He's got the flip reset, slows it down instead. Devo tracked his man so well.
Oh, what a couple of challenges after a heart stopper from Nolly on the goal line. I mean, you saw his teammate miss, and you're like, oh, you just put him out on an island, and that was a massive stop from Nolly.
How does this one end? Is it a wonder goal? Is it a mistake? Maybe a rotational error. We will only have to wait and see. Next goal takes this first series in the set. Remember, it's first to 2 series in the set, so nothing's going to be decided here. But this series could be. Atomic's coming in. It's blocked again by Tho. Team Queso looking the better on attack, but when Guild counter, unless they counter themselves, we've seen that a few times from Tho, and it's starting to upset me a little bit.
It's like the idea isn't like bad, right? Yes, you're kind of rotating back, you're trying to stay out of the way, and your teammate hits it right at you. I mean, what's your only option? Try and skim it off the back of your car and pop it forward. Tho trying to knock another one off the back wall towards Devo, and VK Salen reading it nicely. Gonna shut that one down, and that's been a scrappy start for Guild on defense, but finally they get a chance to stretch their legs a little bit here, and everyone can catch their breath, I think, if they're a Guild fan.
Yeah, they can indeed. They're getting some chances, but VK Salen has one. Nolly just gets the scrape of a touch that he needed, but all he can do is temporarily keep Team Queso out. He needs yet another touch, doing so much work in defense for Guild right now. Dementor's turn now. This is the danger of Team Queso, each and every one of them. The mechanical prowess, so impressive. You can't calm down for a second when any of these players have clean touches on the ball.
I'm enjoying seeing Queso push into the Guild half and stealing as much boost as they physically can. Dementor literally went from one corner to the other, trying to find his teammate across the net as well. Finally, there's a chance for Atomic.
He's got it.
Win the double tap! Team Queso will be taking home the series.
Oh, you were talking about going and stealing boost, and while Dementor doesn't have an opportunity to steal boost, he does keep the pressure going with that big challenge off the corner. And how about Atomic? Oh, man. What a catch off that bounce and a real tight double tap to close it out. That was just beautiful.
It took him 8 shots, and finally Atomic sinks his first one of the game, and indeed his first one of the entire series. Yeah, after scoring so many yesterday, being my player of the day in general. Who other than Atomic, Stumpy, to come in clutch for Team Queso right at the death?
I mean, it seemed to be a different Queso as well that we were seeing today, because it was yesterday, as you said, it was the atomic show. He was the top scorer across the entirety of yesterday. He sunk so many goals in, and yet today he sat back a bit more. Demensa took on more of that aggressive role, and also was assisting very often. But finally, you expect him to go for the amount of shots that he did. The fact that his one goal is the one that ends the game, ends the series, and gives him that series in this set, that is huge. Queso looking fantastic. We said they'd have the momentum, but Achieves, I didn't expect for Guild to come out quite as strong as they have done, and they still look very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the only reason that series ends up going Queso's way is because that one crazy pinch goal on Utopia Coliseum, right?
True.
I mean, that was Guild's game to win. They crushed that game, and it didn't go to overtime just because one slipped through on a fluke of a challenge. And Guild, they played a pretty solid series. The only real shortcoming was the follow-ups when it came on to offense. I mean, the shots were there. The accuracy, not so much, and sometimes the positioning, not enough to really have someone try and close the gap. So, Guild, you don't have to change too much going into that second series, I don't think. It's just a slight tightening of the screws.
Hopefully, Achieves, this next series is going to be of a little bit higher quality.
Yes, then Gibbs cheese pick, yes.
Yeah.
I think that was undoubtedly the worst pick. American cheese is not the play, and so I'm leaning Guild. I have to, because that was just a poor form, Gibbs.
Yeah,
American cheese is such a strange choice to go for your objective favorite cheese as well. It's like there's so many types, there's so many ways that you could go with cheese. Nolly has left the room naturally as well, so
we're
incredible that this is carrying on. We're going to be restarting this game. But yeah, it's one of those things that Gibbs is yet again is, of course, wrong on. So we can also confirm that game is obviously not live. Nolly is not even in the room, so don't worry, Guild fans. They haven't thrown it quite that hard. Are we continuing with our predictions, guys? Because I think that it was still very, very close in that series, of course. It came down to that Game 5 final game as well. I don't know if there's too much to separate these teams, especially if Guild starts to turn it on, Cole.
Yeah, I mean, Guild are a team that always seem to have more in the locker, but we've been saying that about them since the very start of the RLCS Season X, that they'll be good. And then for a time in spring, they actually became good. They became really, really, really good, winning themselves a regional. So they've definitely got more to offer here. And the irony is, as Gibbs alluded to, and we said when we were commentating as well, they didn't play that badly. Their shooting wasn't great. So hopefully, you were saying earlier on, Stumpy, that in between days they've been on the training packs, working with their mechanics. Hopefully they've been on the classic shots you shouldn't miss, making sure that if they have a shooting chance, they are bulleting it into the top right or top left corner. I do feel, Achieves, that if they start shooting well, Guild will still be favorites in this set, but perhaps you disagree.
No, I'm totally with you. I actually think Guild overall played the much better series. In general, holding a lot more of the offensive pressure across the board throughout the series, and that to me has always been your sign of a successful Rocket League team. If you're the ones dictating pace of play, putting pressure on defenses, far more likely to crack on defense than you are on offense, or at least in a way that's going to be hugely problematic. And so I think if Guild really just, like we talked about right at the end of that last series, tighten the screws a little bit, those follow-through start coming through. If Tho is able to continue to set up, I mean, some truly quality chances for his teammates, and they start dropping, you're going to get in a lot of trouble if you're Team Queso.
I mean, I don't want to call out Tho, but there were also one or two negatives for his first series there. Once or twice, he very clearly went for a ball that was his teammates on the rotation out and even bumped into his teammates. So I think, Stumpy, it's fair to say that Guild have a few things they can easily fix that will just step up their gameplay by that 5% extra that they'd need to take this series.
I think, yeah, there are a couple of very easy fixes. A part of them are also a case of just being a bit more consistent with calling where you're putting the ball. We saw how well they gained space when they did that. We saw the best moment was when Devo sent it high and called onto Nolly before he did it, so Nolly could pre-jump for the ball. That meant that nobody else on Queso was even able to get off the ground before he had hit it. However, Nolly just didn't quite have that accuracy. In this series, we're going to need to see a lot come out from both of these teams, because obviously they're going to both come out swinging. Queso just need that one more series. Guild are going to need to reverse sweep in this series to take this set.
Yeah, Guild are absolutely living on the edge right now. So close to falling out as our 5th top team in EU. And Queso start is going to make it trickier. Quick fire play there from them at the start.
Pretty curious to see this one split the defense. I can kind of understand. So it's Nolly rotating back there, kind of watching Tho's rotation back. Like, he's watching Tho follow the play. And Tho kind of gives ground twice in a row, and Nolly's thinking Tho's going to turn and catch something, so he starts heading up the pitch, so he's not on the goal line to even have an opportunity to get that one out. So Tho just not really feeling too comfortable in that situation, just never makes a play, and Bill doesn't have the support back there.
It was also an unbelievably quick pass from the corner too, where Dementor managed to pinch it along with VK Salen, and then somehow, astonishingly, managed to read it off that side wall and shoot it behind the defender. So Team Queso with a really, really good start, carrying on being quick and being speedy, but Guild suddenly putting a bit more of that pressure on.
So there's a chance. It was his flip reset that got Guild going in the first series, and he looked like he was setting himself up for another one there, but in the end he's had to rotate back, and Nolly goes for a redirect. Read so easy though by VK Salen, who's following up as well. Team Queso are doing something right now, Achieves, that they do as well as anybody in EU, and that is always being there for the second awkward touch after their teammate makes a good touch, just following it up and making the play unpredictable.
Definitely agree, and that's not even touching on the quality of their initial challenge on the ball. I mean, they're not getting beat by a lot of these catch into air dribbles. They're getting above the play. They're taking a lot of them off the top of Guild hoods, and VK Salen's gonna spike one into the lower right-hand corner. 2-0.
That is so well played. Look at VK Salen turn on a dime, heads up the wall, receives the pass from Atomic, sees that there's nobody in the net, maybe received a call to go for that shot, saying it's open. Anything that goes on target there is likely going in, let alone a shot with that amount of spice.
Just a great finish, a clean strike into the corner of the net. He could have another one here. VK sent into the backboard. Atomic's following up, could be 3. Devo slams down on the ball to save it, but it's nervy times for Guild all of a sudden in this opening game to series number 2 in this set. They have to slow things down a little bit. Just make sure they don't give anything away in the next 30 seconds or so, because this first game, Stumpy, could get away from them. It could happen now as well, but nobody's following up on that occasion.
Yeah, there's lots of chances, though, for Guild to come back into this. They've had a good few shots. They haven't been completely shut out. They've not had a lot of time in the opposite half is the only problem. Any shots they have had, it just comes down to the fact that there have been the occasional rolling shot towards the opposition goal. Queso have been they've been able, to manage their goal line incredibly well, sending it to corners repeatedly too. Guild just need to pressure them more. Right now, it's touching the ball central, Queso clear, Guild start again. They need to have a follow-up from Guild to pressure Queso into making a rush touch or just force a 50.
Trying to do that now. Nolly was trying to take a few more touches, but just look at the clearance. Dementor can actually make something from this. It seems that Guild are getting 4, 5, even 6 touches of their own, and Queso are letting it happen. Then as soon as there's a clearance, look how much pressure they put on. Almost another goal for Dementor. Atomic could make it 3 now. Dementor does get a nibble on Nolly as he comes out. Tho has to help out his teammate. But just the amount of danger that Queso are representing anytime they have anything approaching possession is impossible for Guild to deal with right now.
Yeah. And I think the big quality when it comes to that is Demensa trying to get it back to VK Salen. So actually on the transition, you need to score this if you're Guild pretty much. And big flick, Demensa spawns on the right side of the pitch. Oh my gosh. If he gets any different spawn, they're toast.
It just seems that this is looking like not Guild's day. When the respawns go against you and the awkward bounces trickle into your goal and not theirs, you really have to dig deep to make sure you don't start feeling sorry for yourself. There are no more second chances for Guild right now. They have to just step up and fight, and they're starting to do that with a shot from Tho. It's easily saved by VK Salen, but it's at least better from Guild.
I wouldn't even say this is Guild's second chance. It's the 4th series they've played across 2 games as well. They've had a lot of chances to work their way into it. Even if we take away yesterday from it, they've still had a chance from the very close series earlier on. We're speaking like Queso absolutely ran away with it. Guild didn't have a chance. It was just very well managed by Queso, but Guild ultimately looked like the better team despite the result. Nolly, though, can get the opening goal for Guild.
Looking very similar to Tho's initial backboard setup in the previous series. This time he's got the people in position to take advantage and got the nice little bump on VK Salen, stopped him from diving down out in front of that and maybe pulling that one off the goal line. So Guild give themselves an outside chance here, just under 50 seconds. It's definitely doable.
Yeah, it was sort of just in that time where 2 goals was an absolutely, really difficult task to achieve. But getting one with 49 seconds left, that second goal, they do have time for it. But they just need a few chances to fall their way. You can see there, Nolly is just hovering, hoping something's going to fall for him, desperate for these scraps. Nothing's happening just yet, and the clearances from Team Queso have been so good, but that's better. Nolly tries to send it back towards Devo. Atomic closes it down this time. Here's Nolly again, always going for these redirects, trying to tempt Team Queso out of defense and out of their goal line. Devo slows it down again. He's been doing that this entire set, but Demensa's carrying it away, and Nolly's been beaten, and that probably will be that.
The thing is, in defense, we've complimented Queso a lot. I feel like I can count on one hand the amount of defensive challenges Queso have gone for where they've not double committed. Almost every single time there's been a double commit from Queso on defense. And yet, how many times did Guild punish on those specific chances? None. There were no goals from those. They need to be doing that a lot more often.
And the thing about that is the hard part, because one, yes, Team Queso double committing on a lot of the defensive challenges, but the difference being the ball is getting cleared in a decent spot. So you're double committing, you're costing yourself position, but you are buying yourself the time to reset as well. And the boost. And the problem with Guild there is on those clears, they don't quite have the same level of control that you've seen out of Team Queso. Because every time I see Queso, bring the ball down, they've got space and they've got the ball much more under control to really turn it into a threatening opportunity back the other way. And Guild, when they've got that time and they bring that first touch down, it just doesn't quite feel like it's really got the same control behind it. And that touch out to somewhere else is more just a, hang on, I need to readjust here. And that's buying even more time for Queso to get reset there. And Guild, that's part of the reason why that offense, despite, hanging out over on the blue side for so much of the game, isn't really getting anything done because there's a lot of wasted time.
I just feel like Guild need a little bit of luck. A free goal, something to fall their way, to spark their day into life. But Team Queso aren't letting it happen. They're defending too well. Haphazardly at times, Stumpy, as you mentioned, I will accept. But they are, one way or another, keeping Guild out when they have chances themselves. They're getting so many shots. It's almost impossible for Guild to defend at times. Already in this game, in the first 30 seconds, look at the pressure that Team Queso have. It's cleared by Nolly on this occasion, but I'm starting to trust Team Queso to be playing well. And when you do, they're so dangerous. But Devo almost turns that right on its head.
How does that not go in? I mean, that looked like a gimme, right? I'm not crazy.
No, it did. I don't know how that's not made it.
Okay.
There we go. Right, so Devo managed to turn it back around and actually sink that one. But the first shot, that just wrapped around the top right corner, then rolled along the goal line. Nobody from Guild following up, because I think they must have thought as well. Devo was on his way out already celebrating. He was already flying to the ceiling, ready to do a ceiling reset. So I don't know how that didn't, but Guild fans and Guild will be very happy that they did manage to get one.
Credit to them as well for not completely rotating out and wanting to reset the play. Devo recycled, kept it going, and in the end got his reward with that lead for Guild, their first one in a very long time, scoring the first goal in a game. Demensa up against Devo onto the backboard. Guild could double up quickly. Tho shoots, it's loose and it's looping. Nolly can't even come in because Demensa was in from the side, but now Nolly gets his opportunity. Atomic saves. Tho tries to keep it going in the way of Devo. Demensa towards his teammates, and Guild can't quite double up.
Great coordination, though. Go for it, Stumpy.
Yeah, that should have been left, I think. Tho technically had a right to that ball, but he didn't have the power. He barely had the angle. That should have been Devo's to shoot.
But if the call wasn't there, you can't blame Tho, so it all comes down to communication and then listening to your teammates. It's a great pass though from Atomic to Demensa. Queso are certainly listening to each other with quick-fire passes like that. VK Salen has no boost, but he still manages to get it over the top of Tho. And Atomic's already going in, pre-jumping Nolly's dribble out of defense. That is why Team Queso are so difficult to play against, but Guild still hold on to this very weary lead. Demensa is going out wide there. It's going to fall to Tho. He's putting it into the center, and this is better from Guild. They're just managing to deal with what Team Queso are offering, at least for now, but you always get the sense, Chiefs, that one clean touch from Queso could be enough to just put them under so much pressure, and now this is the pressure that they're under. Again, they survive, but Team Queso looks so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. It just takes one touch because they're catching Guild every now and again with that one big challenge like this right there.
Wow.
Devo comes up empty, and Atomic's just right on it. He's committed to the line. And I mean, if you don't make the touch, what's Nolly supposed to do on the goal line? I mean, he just got a bullet fired at him when he's thinking his teammate's going to get a touch.
God, that pass coming in as well is perfect. You see them so often either go straight towards the net, into the ceiling, anywhere but in the perfect passing lane. And yet, Queso managed to find it, get their goal.
Oh,
What a fake out! Nolly just turning it round instantly again.
This is unlucky. You feel like you get a nice couple of people going to challenge, and Atomic, I mean, try as you might, it's quite frankly just not the best line to take on the ball. Maybe jumped a little bit early, but you can't really blame him. You got to go back there and try and pull it out.
I mean,
ends up just tipping it in.
That's what we said. We said that Guild needed a little bit of luck. Maybe that was it. It was luck combined with the pure skill of Nolly to go for the flip reset dunk there. It's the second one that he's got in this series, so you know that he means it. And Guild also mean business. Not had as many chances as Team Queso, but they have more goals. But this could be the equalizer right now. It is the second time they've scored this exact goal, and it's Atomic this time. Look at that. Look at the pass there from Demensa. Just picks him out. There's been a couple of beautiful assists in this game achieved as well, it has to be said, from both VKSalen and Demensa.
You just got to watch it again, right? I mean, you're feeling good about Guild. You got that, like you said, the flip reset, the fake, go for the dunk, and you squeeze one in, and then you just get instantly put right back into the tie game, and it's like, goodness gracious. What do we do to stop these guys on transition? And it might be the answer is throw. That's a hard kick.
Oh, another team.
Oh no, Devo's been taken out completely, and Demensa is going to turn this one on its head. Look at poor old Devo right there.
Oh, but then Devo was left out the back on his own because Tho again team bumped Nolly and then meant that he couldn't even begin to come back. Even if Devo wasn't bumped there, he was still in a 3v1 situation. That was 3 or 4 things for Guild just going utterly wrong, and Queso making sure that they capitalize. They're looking great.
I mean, achieves. Guild are on the cusp of needing to reverse sweep in a series to save their entire season, and everything just seems to be going against them right now. I know that on the desk, Turtle stayed firm with his prediction for Guild. Do you have any words for their fans or for him to say that this could still happen?
You know, I think the right play actually for Guild is just get out of Tho's way. I think you need to trust that he's got the speed to keep putting the pressure on the defense, because every now and again he's made a big play for you, and if you just keep giving him the chance to try and open a door, and instead of crowding him as much as they have been, crowding might be the wrong word, but they need to spread the field and give a little bit more space for him to operate, and that's kind of how this team has always found success. They'll just pressure, and then it's Nolly and Devo to follow up or make a big block to keep the pressure going.
I mean, Tho is also the fastest player that we had out of every single game yesterday, despite their performance. He was so quick, and yet we're seeing that, like you said, Devo and Nolly, they're just getting in his way every now and then. We always point him out because he is the culprit who is bumping, but you have to, in Rocket League, always look back 3 or 4 steps. How did that situation arise? Who was in the wrong lane? Devo nearly able to equalize with under 10 seconds.
It was a great save there on the goal line. Devo tries to get one more chance for Guild. He sprays it out wide to the left. Nolly maybe was waiting. Oh, the first touch was a great read. The second, though, I think achieves the very happy man having witnessed that 0-second play there.
VKSalen is a genius. I mean, he jumped off that wall right before that pass got lifted out to his teammate. You know, sometimes you just get that sixth sense. You know where that pass is going. He went out there, chopped it down, and what a double tap to kill the game. And what are you laughing about, Cole?
I'm laughing about the fact that in Quick Chat, VKSalen has just used the very rarely used one full stop more full stop game against Guild. Wow. Guild are taking their tactical timeout, and Stumpy, they're just going to have to ignore that completely and focus on their own thoughts.
But you know they've seen it. Like, absolutely. You know that they have just seen one more game. And now Dragon's saying, guys, it's not one more game. We're going to literally have another series. Don't worry about it. In terms of the stats on that previous game, Tho had more touches than Nolly and Devo combined. He had 60 touches on the ball. I think Nolly had 22, and then Devo was rocking like 27. So he had more than them both combined. His speed, his absolute aggression that he wants on a game is still not breaking down the walls of Queso. They are firm. They are making sure that this series is theirs. We know how excited these guys get as well. Some of my favorite moments from this season have been the introduction of player cams and then just seeing VK Salem sprint out of his room.
I mean, VK Salen's fan is going absolutely wild behind him. He believes that Team Queso are going to win this one. I mean, I like to think that in their chat right now, all they're saying is, presumably in Spanish, one more game. One more game.
What is it in Spanish?
I will last one more.
Yes, thank you, Achieves. I'm so glad you're here to answer that question.
Why did you help him? Why did you help him?
Well, you know, I'm not going to let him hang out to dry.
Yes,
that's been my career, is letting him hang out to dry.
That's what's got you to these big
dynamic.
Absolutely. But I mean, like, Team Queso Guild feel like they're being hung out to dry right now by Team Queso. I don't know how many times I can reiterate this. They're not playing terribly. Maybe less so in that game. That was a dodgier one compared to what they've been so far in this set. But for the most part, the general dynamic of how they've sort of lined up today is sort of working. But they just can't score. And then down the other end, they're conceding silly goals, Achieves.
Yeah, well, the silly goals sometimes can or cannot be helped, but I think the biggest MVP for me throughout the series, it's just gotta be Team Queso somehow. Just one, challenging like absolute monsters, and two, just so structurally good on defense, because the double commits, we've talked about it, right? But does it matter? No, they still can't crack them, right? So it's like they're just getting the quality touches on defense, and Guild just don't have the command or the execution on offense to do anything about the kind of slapdash approach.
I mean, one thing that is so big for Guild has been their timeouts. They've been used so well, and Gregan has brought them back into series time and time again, hoping beyond all hope that this is another example of that. Guild now need to be reverse sweeping in this game to then go forward to reverse sweep this set. They've got a mountainous task ahead of them. Guild need as much love and as much energy as their fans can give them right now, because Queso are sapping it out of them with every single play.
I mean, credit to Team Queso. They have been absolutely stunning today. They have been ruthless. They've taken their chances, and they're so dangerous in attack. It could be Demensa. What a save that was from Devo. You get the impression that Guild needed it. Can only do anything down the other end. This could be a real sucker punch if he can score here. But Atomic stands tall. And whenever any of the Queso players have been called into action, they have been unrelenting and unblinking, never seeming like bowing to this pressure, Achieves.
It's been good defense as well, but I just kind of watching that sequence right there from Guild just felt like they took the foot off the gas a little bit and weren't willing to try and drive something home there and really put that pressure on Team Queso as well.
Atomic is going to go for a flip reset himself, though just waited underneath it, confident that he'd miss. And this could be trouble for Queso because there was a slight double commit there from VK Salen and Demensa, but by the time the ball fell and they had got back into rotation really well, then look at VK Salen pre-jumping again, Demensa to the backboard. They're just so in sync right now. Gonna defend for a little bit as Nolly sends it forwards. A huge clearance. Actually, Demensa might be able to reach that one, not on that occasion. Look at him bouncing along the back wall. They are playing with so much confidence right now. Team Queso are having fun. They're making Guild look slow.
Okay, here's my problem. You see that weak touch right there. They take it all the way back to their own half, and then they make one bad touch, and it drops down. It's a free look for Devo. And the execution just, I mean, how do you not put more pressure with that? Like, he mistimed the catch, doesn't get the dribble, doesn't get the strong touch towards the back wall, just chipped it straight into the ceiling, and they gave it right back pretty much. It's like, guys, they gave you the opportunity to put the pressure on him. You gotta take it.
I was so ready to finally be happy that the double commit led to a goal against Team Queso, but you're completely right. It was just not challenged again, and it's disappointing yet again. Team Queso holding so firm and being so resolute throughout this series that Guild, they've had more openings, they've had more chances to score here, and yet they haven't done anything with them.
But the longer it goes on without Team Queso scoring, The time is running out, and one goal from Guild could be enough to take this all-important game. So it is just about starting to become a little bit edgy. But Team Queso are willing to change that. They're looking the faster team on this pitch right now. As Atomic, another clean touch, goes for the flip reset and can't quite get it. But it's VK Salem that's following up, and no Guild player anywhere near reading what Devo had offered. The pre-jumps aren't quite working for them either, and now Tho and Devo getting in each other's way in defense. There's a clean shot for Atomic. Tho just about bundles it towards Devo. Guild do well to survive, but they need to do so much more than that in this last minute and 10 seconds.
Oh, there's just been so many iffy touches from Guild. I'm amazed that Queso haven't punished more than they should have done as well. It's a chance for Nolly just to keep some of this pressure going. Great touchdown onto the backboard. And Queso, they're doing what they did versus Solary in some of their games. Sit back, wait for an error in the back line, wait for Tho to just bump someone out of the way, and then you've got a decent in.
That's it. That is it right there. They just in defense, didn't look up for it at all. Dementor gets a clean touch, and then Nolly and Devo, they're looking at each other. They're waiting for the other one to get the ball. Credit, though, achieves to VK Salem. He saw that coming from the off.
Exactly. I mean, you see that lift towards the backboard, and initially as VK Salem, it doesn't look like it's too much, but then you can tell there's that slight hesitancy between Devo and Nolly, and then you've taken too much time, right? It's now a much more difficult play to make, and VK Salem just closes the gap to see if they make the mistake, jumps right on it in an instant, and a huge block right there, still goes right out to Tho. Atomic's gonna kick it up off the wall. Tho gonna chop it down for Nolly. This one is not gonna get turned in. Not really too good of an opportunity, but probably one of the best they've had in this game.
Guild have got 20 more seconds to save an entire season as Nolly puts it into the center, but it's nowhere. Atomic beats it forward. Team Queso know they are so close to breaking into this top 4 against Team BDS. Tho has no boost, nothing to do with it. Devo wants to go up. I don't think he has any boost either. Dementor just fakes him out. They've got so much control. They've got the entire pitch in the palm of their hands. Atomic, who else signs, seals, and delivers it for Team Queso?
Don't tell me why Dementor crushed him. Just tell me why he crushed him, man.
To be mean, to be cruel, to finally shut down what Guild have been trying to do for this entire series. The vice that Queso managed to seal around Guild in this final game is astonishing. I'm so impressed with how well Queso held it together. They were being attacked for a straight 5 minutes. They had no opportunity to break out of their own half. They were maybe had 1, 2, 3 shots. And finally, they get a chance. They send in one. They send in a second. The killing blow. Despite the fact that they were very even on touches in the end by the looks of things, Guild just couldn't sink anything. Queso looked incredible. They looked formidable. And I am so excited to see how Queso do going forwards. They've now broken into that incredibly elusive top 4 in Europe.
With a sweep as well against Guild eSports, one of the favorites, other than BDS, going into this championships. And Team Queso have made them look so average today. They were so fast. They were on sync with each other, kept on fighting until the very end. They have relegated Team Guild to 5th place, who win $32,000 on top of their season, but achieves. This was just Queso's to win.